Om. 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 Sahana Bhavatu. Sahano Bhunaktu. Sah Viryam Karavavahai. Tejasvinavadhitamastu. Ma Vidvishavahai. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Sairam, everyone. Just to put things in perspective, we have had about 30 sessions of Narada Bhakti Sutras, and we have covered more than 80 sutras. Today we are looking at the last two sutras, and with today's session, Narada Bhakti Sutras will come to an end. Our study of it will come to an end. Let's look at the next sutra. This is the 83rd sutra. Just let's read it. Ityevam vadanti jana jalpa nirbhayaha ekamataha kumara vyasa shuka shandilya garga vishnu kaundinya sheshodha varini bali hanumat vibhishanadayo bhaktyacharyaha. Ityevam vadanti jana jalpa nirbhayaha ekamataha kumara vyasa shuka shandilya garga vishnu kaundinya seshodha varuni bali hanumat vibhishanadayo bhaktyacharyaha. Ityevam vadanti jana jalpa nirbhayaha ekamataha kumara vyasa shuka shandilya garga vishnu kaundinya seshodha varuni bali hanumat vibhishanadayo bhaktyacharyaha. In terms of pronunciation, I will just point out a few areas. Ityevam vadanti, there are no aspirated consonant. It should be reasonably simple to read. Jana jalpa nirbhayaha. This bha is the fourth letter in the per class of consonants, so it should be aspirated. Nirbhayaha. Ekamataha. Kumara vyasa shuka shandilya garga Vishnu. There are no aspirated consonants. Just the sh in the Vishnu is a cerebral sh. You can pay attention to that. Kaundinya, there are no aspirated consonants. Say Shodha Varuni. In this say, she, sho, this sho is again cerebral sh. So just pay attention. Uddhava, in this compound consonant or conjunct consonant, the second letter is aspirated. She Shodha Varuni. Bali Hanumat, there are no aspirated consonants. Vibhisha Nadayo. This bha is again the fourth letter in the pa varga, so it has to be aspirated. Vibhishanadayo. Then Bhakti Acharya, in this Bha again is fourth letter in the per class of consonants, so it has to be aspirated. Okay. Let's look at some of the Sandhi splits and look at the individual words in this sutra. Ityevam is made up of two words, iti and evam. The ti and a becomes itye. So that's e and a becomes ya. Okay, so iti plus evam becomes ityevam. Vadanti, there are no changes. Jana jalpa nirbhayaha, it's a compound word. I have just separated individual words so that it's easy to read and understand. Even same thing holds with the ekamataha. It's a compound word. No sandhi related changes. I have just hyphenated. Kumara, Vyasa, Shuka, Shandilya, Garga. No sandhi related changes. It's a one whole long compound word. Vishnu, Kaundinya, Shesha. Kaundinya, there are no sandhi related changes. But the next three, Shesha, Uddhava, and Aruni, they all have, when come together, there are sandhi related changes. Shesha and Uddhava becomes Sheshodhava. Okay. And U becomes O. So it becomes Sho. Okay. Sheshodhava. Then Uddhava and Aruni, Va plus A becomes Va. So Sheshodhavaruni. So those are three words, separate words. Then Bali, Hanumad, Vibhishana. There are no Handhi-related changes. Vibhishana plus Adiyoho. The Na and A becomes Na. Vibhishanadayo. Okay. Then the last word is Bhaktyacharya. Is made up of Bhakti and Acharya. This compound word. So I've just hyphenated. The Ukti plus A becomes Uktya. So it's E plus A, again Ya, similar to Ityeva. Okay, Bhakti plus Acharya becomes Bhaktyacharya. Okay. So that's Sandhi, and we have all the individual words. Let's look at the meaning of these words and the sutra. Iti means thus. So Narada has been speaking. There are 82 sutras which he has already spent time. So all this, whatever we have been speaking of regarding bhakti. Oh, I see. I have not even put the meaning. You can say indeed is my preferred meaning for this. Okay. This ityevam, indeed in this manner. Okay. Evam also can be only in this manner also you can say, but because bhakti is so vast, so I have just used the word indeed. So you should understand that Narada Maharshi compiled various scholars on bhakti or various devotees who have spoken about bhakti and put it all together. Okay, so he's telling some of these great devotees are indeed saying all this. So this in this manner alone they speak. Okay, that is, so he is standing on the shoulders of so many great devotees who have spoken about bhakti. In their own way, they have written texts about bhakti. So they all spoken thus. Then he goes to the next part of the sutra. Jana jalpa nirbhayaha. Jana jalpa nirbhayaha. Jana means people. People in general. human beings. Jalpa. Jalpa is something like mumbling, you know, people saying things which do not have any meaning, no value. Okay. Jana Jalpa means the mumblings of people. Okay. Nirbhayaha. Bhaya means fear. Nirbhaya means no fear. Nirbhayaha is a plural. So that means all these people all of them were without fear. Fearless people of Jana Jalpa. So they were unafraid of mumblings of people. Okay. So let me put, we'll say those who are like that. Okay. So all these people who spoke about bhakti without being afraid of what others will say. So you can imagine that even in those days, people were saying all sorts of things. But these great people have spoken about bhakti without fearing what generally public will say. Ekamataha is the next word. Eka means one. Mata means opinion, you can say. It also can be one belief system also, you can say. Matam in Sanskrit also it translates as religion, a belief system, or thought. Thought itself is mata. So Ekamata Haman, they were unanimous in their opinion. All of them were unanimous, means they had the same view of devotion. Okay. And then Narada lists all these great people who have who have spoken about bhakti before him. The first one is Kumara. Kumara is a general term addressed to Sanat Kumara, you can say, or all the Sanakadi brothers. So there are supposed to be four brothers who were the one of the first set of people who were created by Brahma with his mind. Manasaputra, they are called. Sanaka, Sanandana, Sanatana, or Sanat Sujata, or Sanat Kumar. You know, these are four rishis who fare in many places in the Puranas and Upanishads and so on. So they were all considered Kumaras. They were always young. They were celibates. And they walked around the entire earth in search of knowledge. And they were supposed to have learned from Dakshinamurti. They are the ones who were supposed to have gone to Vaikunta and were stopped by Jaya Vijaya, the gatekeepers of Vaikunta, and they cursed them. So, and they have taught many people, and Sanat Kumari in particular was one who taught Narada Maharshi, because whenever Narada Maharshi had any issues with his knowledge of spirituality, he supposed to have approached Sanat Kumara. So Sanat Kumara, whatever his guru taught, so Kumara is mentioned by Narada Maharshi. Next one is Vyasa. Vyasa is Veda Vyasa. All those who teach are called Vyasas. But people who teach various aspects of Vedas and so on. So as you know, Veda Vyasa has done immense contribution to the Sanatana Dharma, to the compilation of the Vedas, and also writing the 18 Mahapuranas and so on, and Brahma Sutra. So without him, the Sanatana Dharma itself would have not survived. Of all this, the greatest contribution to Bhakti is his writing of the Bhagavatam. So Vyasa's contribution in the Bhaktis, Bhagavatam. So there also he has spoken about devotion in many ways. So Narada Maharshi is referring to him. Then Shuka Maharshi. Shuka is the one who narrated the Bhagavata story to Parikshit. And in his own way, he has also taught Janaka Maharshi and so on. So he's also another uh, contributor to the Bhakti literature. So Narada is recognizing him also. Shandilya. Shandilya is a Maharshi. Is supposed to have written Shandilya Smriti, which has a significant focus on bhakti. I don't have much knowledge about this. But there is a couple of places Swami is mentioning Shandilya, so we will look at that. Garga. Garga was the Kulapati or the Kula Guru of Yadavas, and he's someone who named Sri Krishna. So there is some story which Swami is writing about it. We will read that as well. Next one is Vishnu. Vishnu is here is a Vishnu Rishi Vishnu. There's Upanishads in his name also. And he also has contributed to Bhakti literature. Very little information I have on that. Then Kaundinya. Kaundinya is another Rishi who fares very much in many of the Upanishads as someone who has been teaching various disciples. The next one is, I have not, there's no translation for Kaundinya, so I'll just put it. The names need not be translated, but anyway, I will. Sesha. Sesha is the Adishesha, which everyone knows. He was born to Kashyapa Maharshi, and unlike his siblings, he took to worship and a devout life. And he's supposed to have been blessed, by Vishnu to be his bed. It's believed that Shesha is the one who keeps the earth stable by his presence. He lives in the Pathala. He's so self-sacrificing. From Pathala, he resides and he supports the Bhumadevi, the earth. That's the belief. So so it's not only literal, but it's symbolic. So he is the one who makes sure that Vishnu is able to recline on him and perform the work of maintaining this world. So that's such a great devotee. So the Lord is supposed to recline in the hearts of devotees. Sesha is the ultimate example. He's supposed to be singing the praises of Vishnu with his 1,000 hoods, 1,000 tongues. Okay, so many may have learned from him how to be a devotee. He set such a great example. The next one is Uddhava. Uddhava was a companion of Krishna. He was a devotee of Krishna. He fares significantly in the Bhagavatam. He's the one who went to meet the gopis and so on. Swami has spoken widely, and many of you may know, so I have not accepted anything about it. The next one is Aruni. Aruni is a Vedic Maharshi. He's also called Uddhalaka. So Uddhalaka Aruni. He fares very much in many of the Upanishads. He's supposed to be the teacher and for many great rishis like Yajnavalkya, Shvetaketu, Ashtavakra, and so on. So he teaches especially his son Shvetaketu a lot, and which fares quite a bit in the Upanishads. So he's a great Maharshi who helped make sure, he was a great founder of many of the Upanishadic knowledge. Then comes Bali. Bali is Mahabali, was a great devotee of Vishnu. He was blessed by Vamana, Vamana Avatara. He is the grandson of Prahlada, and so on. Okay, so Bali. The next one is Hanuman. He was also one of those. He was not only a great devotee of Rama, he was also an expounder of devotion. There are many texts which apparently were used by others to learn about what the teachings of the Lord is. For example, even the Bhagavad Gita was originally listened and written by Hanuman in the language of Paisachika, Swami says in one of his discourses, and Vedavyasa used it as this text from which he wrote the Bhagavad Gita. The next one is Vibhishana. All of you know Vibhishana was born in Lanka as brother of Ravana, and he surrendered to Rama. So many of these, in their own life, you can say, just like Vibhishana, he was abused by his brother so much, but that he still took refuge in Rama. So through their life also, they have taught how to be a great devotee. Adayoho is the next word. Vibhishana Adayoho. So Narada is saying the list of devotees is not limited to all these great names. Adayoho means etc. Adi-yoho. Okay. Adi means starting from these, there are many. And all of them are of the same opinion. All of them are unafraid of the mumblings of people. And they hold devotion in the same way. They practice devotion the same way. And Narada is calling them Bhaktyacharyaha. Bhakti Acharya means, see, the word Acharya is Acharya means teachers. But Acharyas differ from normal teachers who explain things. They also practice. Charya means to practice. So through their practice, through the following of the bhakti, they have taught the world how to be a devotee, how to be unaffected by what people around say, with one-pointedness. So Narada is, sorry. Narada is holding this out as examples of devotees, whom we can learn from and practice. More than the theory which we learn, studying their lives, how they have lived, also will give us some idea of how to cultivate devotion and how to make it grow, nurture it. So let's look at some excerpts from Swami's discourses. I try to touch upon a few so that we get a flavor of some of the things which Swami has spoken about some of these great devotees. Even a sage like Narada, who had mastered all the Shastras, was subject to delusions and went to Sanat Kumara to find out how he could experience Brahmananda, supreme bliss. He said to Sanat Kumara, Master, I wish to know all about Brahman and how I can have vision of the Brahman. Confer this benediction on me. When Sanat Kumara asked Narada how he was qualified to receive this message, the sage recounted his mastery of the Vedas and the scriptures and proclaimed his ability to expound them. Sanat Kumara smiled and said and asked if he knew anything else. Narada replied, when I have mastered all the scriptures and recognized that the divine is the basis for all of them, what else is there to be known? What is the unknown mystery about the Brahman? Sanat Kumara said, dear child, if with all this knowledge you have not been able to experience the divine, you must inquire into the reason for your failure. Sanat Kumar explained, God cannot be realized by intellectual inquiries or study of the scriptures. Bhakti, devotion alone, is the means. Pray to God with deep devotion, you will have the vision of the divine. Man today has achieved eminence in the intellectual sphere and in scientific and technical knowledge. But he cannot realize God through these accomplishments. The divine is attained only by those who have pure, selfless devotion. The Lord responds only to such pure, one-pointed love and total devotion. What is to be cultivated by seekers is such total devotion. Today, people tend to remember God when they are in distress and forget Him when they are happy and comfortable. Indulging in such part-time devotion, men aspire for the fruits of full-time devotion. How can we get those fruits? They have to develop the feeling of total surrender to the divine and dedicate every action to the divine. What is the inner significance of the yagas and yajnas we are performing now? The purpose of performing these ceremonies is to realize the omnipresent divine through various activities, rituals, and media. The devotional part of bhakti has 9 forms of worshipping the Lord: Shravanam, listening to the stories of God; Kirtanam, singing His glories; Vishnu Smaranam, remembering His names; Padasevanam, service to the Lord's feet; Vandanam, prostration; Archanam, offering worship to the Lord; Dasyam, service; Sneham, cultivating friendship; Atmanivedanam, self-surrender. If any one of these forms of worship is done in full faith, the divine can be experienced. The primary requisite for realizing God is pure and intense love. This discourse Swami gave in 1987 during Dashara. Another excerpt. So as you can see Sanat Kumara and Narada mentioned there. Today we have the happy confluence of 3 gurus. It is Guruvaram. The day of the week is known as the day of the preceptor or Guru. The second refers to Adi Guru, primary preceptor. The full moon of this month, which occurs today, is revered, especially sacred to the memory of Veda Vyasa, the collector of Vedas, the author of Brahma Sutras, aphorisms on supreme reality. The great poet who composed the epic known as the Panchama Veda, the Mahabharata, and the author of the renowned scripture of Bhakti, devotion, called Srimad Bhagavatam. The third Guru refers to the Gurukula ashram. This college with a new but ancient outlook of reviving the master disciple sanctified by centuries of spiritual effort and experience. These 3 gurus are reminders of the 3-pronged bilva leaf, which is placed in reverence while adoring Shiva, symbolizing the 3 gunas, qualities, 3 prongs of time, past, present, future, held as a spear by Shiva, and the 3 attributes which man has to overcome: the tamas, rajas, and sattva. The greatest contribution of Vyasa is the realm of bhakti, which adores God with an identifying label of a name as man can appreciate and apprehend only name and form. Fire has no form. It takes on the form of the article it burns or fills. A ball of iron, a crooked rope, etc. Water has no form. It takes the form of the vessel which contains it. Air has no form. It fills the ball and assumes that form. So too, the Atmic divine principle. The body is the ball filled with the air of divinity. It is kicked in play by 6 players on one side: lust, anger, greed, attachment, pride, and hate. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Madha, Matsarya. And 6 on the other: truth, right, peace, love, compassion, and fortitude. Satya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema, Ahimsa, and Shama. The goal posts are on each side. The ball is hit so that it passes through them. Dharma Vidya, moral attainment, and Brahma Vidya, spiritual attainment. Those who hit it so can claim victory, or else the kick results in an out. Learn to speak what you feel, act what you speak, do not allow them to be at cross purposes. This was a discourse Swami gave in 1971. I think Swami was speaking on the first day of the new year, academic year, in 1971 to the student in Vrindavan. So he is on a Guru Purnima day. So one more excerpt. In the first chapter of Chandogya, the upasanas which form part of the Sama Veda are detailed. In the second, the entire ritual of Sama is described. In the third, upasana of Surya known as Madhuvidya and Gayatri Upasana and Shandilya Vidya are all given. In the fourth, Samvarga Vidya and the 16th phase Brahma Vidya are taught. In the fifth, three Vidyas, Prana, Panchagni and Vaishvanara are elaborated. So this is what Swami is writing in the Upanishad Vahini when he is writing about Chandogya Upanishad. It's a summary. The reason I accepted this is most of them are related to many of the rishis mentioned in this. Shandilya Vidya is by Shandilya Rishi. Madhu Vidya is supposed to be Kaundinya Rishi, who is also mentioned by Narada, and so on. Okay, so and generally Sama also is song. All forms of bhajan is Sama. So I thought it will be appropriate. I'm just picking up excerpts where Swami has mentioned some of these great rishis in his talk. Another excerpt. Garga was highly respected by both Pandavas and Kauravas. He was the Kula Guru, family preceptor of Nanda and the Yadavas. He was a great scholar, replete with knowledge and wisdom. He went to the house of Nanda and Yashoda for the naming ceremony of the two babies. There are a few esoteric matters which are not widely known. Incarnation generally occur in three categories of Shukla, white, Aruna, orange, and Pita, yellow. But here was a baby who was black. Hence, Garga considered and found the name Krishna, black, as most appropriate. After the naming, Garga narrated several episodes that were to take place in the life of the child, and after staying on to experience and enjoy some of them, he departed. After a while, Garga visited Nanda's house again to see Krishna. He was a very austere person and was used to preparing his food with his own hand. He would not eat food even touched by anybody else. Yashoda therefore provided a secluded place for him to prepare his meal. He asked for a little flour and jaggery, molasses, and milk. Sugar as sweetener was not known then. Sweets were made with jaggery. Garga put the constituents into a vessel and prepared some sweet pudding and, as was his wont, offered it to Vishnu before partaking of it. Suddenly, the boy Krishna dashed into the room and started eating the sweet pudding in the vessel. Garga, who was praying, opened his eyes and found the child eating the food that he had prepared for himself. He called Yashoda and told her, "Mother, do you see what your son Gopal is doing? I'm hungry and he has eaten the food before I could." Is it? I think I missed something. I think Yashoda is scolding Krishna because, you know, he's asking, is it not our duty to honor our guests in a befitting manner? That's what Yashoda says. I think I missed some excerpt. I will make sure that it's complete. Krishna replied, "Mother, I have not done anything on my own. It was he himself who called me to eat the pudding." Yashoda then asked Garga as to why he called Krishna, whom he had kept safely away. Garga protested that he had not called Krishna. Krishna remonstrated, saying, "O sage, why are you uttering a falsehood? To whom did you offer the food in prayer before partaking of it? Is it not myself to whom you prayed? How can you offer everything to me first and then start complaining?" Garga was perplexed for a moment, but he recognized that Krishna was none other than Vishnu himself. He prayed to Vishnu and Krishna responded. With this realization, Garga was happy to partake of the leftover of the pudding eaten by Krishna. This is a discourse Swami gave in 2001 on Krishna Ashtami Day. So you all can go and read. So here Garga, who does not like anyone else touching his food. And Swami says Swayam Paka was his, that means he cooks his own food and he eats. No one should touch. And so he prayed when he offered. While he was praying, Krishna came and started eating. So then he complained to Yashoda, saying, who is this? Your kid is coming and soiling my food. And then that's what happens here. So Yashoda is scolding Krishna, and Krishna says, "No, he called me, so I came." So through that way, Krishna proved his divinity, and Garga also accepted. Such was the greatness of Garga Rishi, I should say. Messiah. Yes, Sister Aruna.
Sairam, brother, is that is okay to think that no one should supposed to touch the food kind of? Like obviously here there's something happened differently, okay? Praying to Lord and the Lord came and ate. But is that is okay? I'm just thinking to myself. But
That's the right thing to do.
hmm?
That's the right thing to do, sister. Swami has spoken about Swayam Pakam. Everyone should cook their own food and eat. It is a one form of sadhana. Because the belief is if anyone else touches, their own vasanas will be affecting us. So, Swami says one of the ways you can protect yourself is to offer it to God again, which is supposed to be Brahmarpanam. But such great rishis, see, Garga, because he practiced like that, Krishna himself came and ate. He was blessed with the opportunity of naming Krishna. If any devotee wants that, they have to practice certain discipline. The discipline is you do not want to be affected by the vasanas of other people. Their thoughts, their feelings will also, it's like COVID. Disease, if you want to keep yourself healthy, you have to follow quarantine. It means you have to make sure that you find social distancing. This is spiritual social distancing. So this is the reason even Brahmins, sometimes will not eat while others are looking at them eating also. So these were certain practices by people to retain, safeguard the spiritual growth in them. Then you can ask why. Swami would say if you want to grow a plant, when it's not mature, it has to be protected. Otherwise, other things can come and eat it. So these were great rishis, great devotees who maintain certain discipline so that their devotion, which is actually slowly growing, not yet mature, is protected. If such people have done it, I think we all also should know what we should do and what we should not do. Because sometimes our thoughts, our reactions, our words, our actions are all influenced by what we intake, what we take in. So I think in the Bhagavad Gita Vahini also we have touched Patra Shuddhi, Padartha Shuddhi, and Paka Shuddhi. So it's basically this. We discussed that in Gita Vahini in much greater detail. So I will stop here. Okay, Saira.
Thank you.
Saira. People say, oh, we should not think lowly of other people. It's not a matter of that. Just because in COVID we kept away from people, not because they are bad people, dirty people. We want to reduce the spread of disease. So it's the same thing. So, okay, we will go to the next sutra. So I only took a few excerpts. Some rishis touched upon. Otherwise, if I start picking for each one, it would have been a very long class. So we'll go to the last final sutra. Ye idam narada proktam shivanuशासनम विश्वसिति श्रद्धते स भक्तिमान भवति स प्रेष्ठम लभते स प्रेष्ठम लभते. य इदं नारद प्रोक्तं शिवानुशासनं विश्वसिति श्रद्धते स भक्तिमान भवति स प्रेष्ठम लभते स प्रेष्ठम लभते. य इदं नारद प्रोक्तं शिवानुशासनं विश्वसिति श्रद्धते स भक्तिमान भवति स प्रेष्ठम लभते स प्रेष्ठम लभते. Just to point out areas where we had to pay attention while pronouncing. Yaidam Narada Proktam Shivanushasanam Vishwasiti. No aspirated consonants. So it should be reasonably simple. Shraddhate. In this word, the idha is the second word, which is a conjunct consonant, where the second letter in that conjunct consonant is the fourth letter in the third class of consonant, so it has to be aspirated. Idha. I think in the previous sutra also we saw something. Shraddhate. Uddhava is the one we looked at earlier, so it's Shraddhate. Sa Bhaktiman. So Bhakti, the first letter is Bha, which is the fourth letter in the per class of consonants. It has to be aspirated. Bhaktiman. Same is Bhavati. Bha is also same letter, aspirated. Sa Preshtam Labhate. Labhate. Bha is again the same letter, so aspirated. Sa Preshtam Labhate. Again the Bha. We look at the Sandhi related changes and individual words. The ya, actually it's yaha. The visarga is dropped because of Sandhi above. Individual word is yaha, idam. Narada Proktam, I've just separated the words, no Sandhi related changes. Shiva Anusashana. Shiva, the va and a becomes Shiva Anushasana. Shiva Anushasana. So that's a va plus a becomes va. Vishwasiti, it's one word. So Shraddhate is also an individual word, no Sandhi related changes. Saha Bhaktiman. Again, the Visarga in the Saha is dropped here because of Sandhi. Saha Bhaktiman Bhavati. Saha, then there are no other Sandhi related changes. Let's look at the meaning. Yaha, whoever. Sorry. Yaha means whoever. Idam means this. Narada Proktam, text spoken by Narada. Whoever this Narada text, whatever we have read, which is Shiva Anushasana. Shiva means auspiciousness. Anushasana means the teaching. What has been laid down as law also is Shasana. So he has put this as a law or the code of conduct to be followed by devotees. It's Anushasana. Shiva Anushasana, or the auspicious teaching taught by Narada. Vishwasiti. Vishwasiti means belief. Vishwasam, we'd say, that means to have faith. Vishwasiti means they believe in this. Okay. Shraddhate. Shraddha means determination, faith. Unswerving faith. It also means practicing. Shraddhate means who practice with determination and faith. So whoever believes and practices with determination, faith, whatever Narada has spoken, which is an auspicious teaching, okay, Saha, such a person, Bhaktiman. Bhaktiman means someone who is filled with devotion. There's a suffix of bhakti, mat. Bhakti mat means, it's called matu pratyaya. It's a suffix which is added, which means someone who is filled with something or who has plenty of it. Bhaktiman means one who possesses devotion or one who is filled with devotion. Bhavati becomes, remains. So whoever practices whatever Narada has taught with faith and Shraddha, determination, such a person will become a devotee. Saha, he, preshtham. So preshta means pra-ishta. Ishta means whatever we like. Preshtham also means everything. So what it basically means, whatever you like, means who in this case, bhakti means the Lord is what we like. Preshta means in completeness. In every way, labhate attains. So such a person will attain the Lord in every way possible, whom he loves. Sapreshtam labhate, sapreshtam labhate. The sapreshtam labhate is repeated twice. Punaruktam means repeated, second time it's stated, to emphasize that without fail, a devotee who practices all that we have learned, or an aspiring devotee who practices all that we have learned from Narada, will definitely attain the Lord in every way possible. Our beloved Lord will be attained by us. So that's the final statement by Narada. So I have an excerpt of Swami's discourse. It's almost the entire discourse I have pulled. We will read. Dharma implies the right use of one's time and resource. Adharma is the abuse of one's time and wealth and depriving others of their wealth. Every person has a mind of his own in which thoughts arise based on his Ichcha Shakti, willpower. I'll stop here. Ichcha means also desire. What we desire is also Ichcha. Okay, I will read again. Every person has a mind of his own in which thoughts arise based on his Ichcha Shakti, willpower. One person favors adoration of Rama. Another prefers Shiva. A third enjoys worshipping Krishna. A fourth is inspired by the contemplation of Jesus. Another is musing over the thought of Allah. All these are based on individual preferences. But in the minds of all persons in whatever country or region, whatever form one wishes to adore, whatever deity one wants to worship, whatever name one likes to chant, two things are essential: Vishwasam, faith, and Shraddha, earnestness. Without earnestness, even the most trivial act cannot be performed well. Without Shraddha, nothing can be accomplished. So as you can see, I picked up this discourse because of the word Vishwasiti and Shraddhate in the last sutra, because that's the most important. So this entire discourse is about these two. So let's continue. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam, says the Gita. Only the earnest seeker can acquire knowledge of the divine. However intelligent one may be, without earnestness he will achieve nothing. A man with earnestness can convert a small burning cinder into a huge bonfire. Shraddha, earnestness, is the means to realization of the divine. What does Shraddha signify? It signifies Daivi Shakti, divine power. Shraddha is called Bhavani. It refers to a goddess, to Shakti, divine energy, or Prakriti. Next comes Vishwasam, faith. What is faith? It symbolizes Ishwaratvam, the divine principle. Through Shraddha, Icha Shakti, Kriya Shakti, and Jnana Shakti, willpower, power of action, power of wisdom, are manifested. The essence of these three potencies is Ishwaratva, divinity. They constitute the power of Vishwasam, faith. Thus, Shraddha and Vishwasam represent Parvati and Parameshwara. Humanness represents combination of Shakti, or nature, and Shiva. These two are not disparate. Just as fire and the power to burn go together, these two go together. Sugar and sweetness are similarly interrelated. There is no sugar without sweetness. Where there is sweetness, there is sugar. Likewise, Shraddha and Vishwasam are symbolically related to each other. Hence, these should be regarded as present in man in the form of Shiva and Shakti. The whole of Prakriti, nature, is Ardhanari Swarupam. The feminine half of the divine couple. Any man who has no Shraddha and Vishwasam is verily a corpse. Although both Shraddha as God and Vishwasa as nature are present in man, by ignoring God, lacking earnestness, man wastes his life. Earnestness and faith together constitute spirituality. Without these, all spiritual exercises have no value. How is man to realize the presence of Shiva and Shakti in him? It is by doing all actions as dedication to the divine. Mat karmakrit, mat parama, mat bhakta, declares the Gita. Whatever actions you do, dedicate them to me. Consider me as your supreme Lord. Be devoted to me. This is the message of the Lord in the Gita. This is the right way to worship the Sakara, attributeful Lord. This kind of worship promotes devotion. Only a land that is properly plowed, weeded, manured, and sown with good seeds will yield a rich harvest. Likewise, after the field of the heart has been cleared of the weeds of bad thoughts and qualities fertilized by good feelings and virtues, and the pure seed of prema, love, is sown, the sacred crop of jnana, wisdom, can be enjoyed. Based on this, two paths have been laid down in the spiritual field: Vidvamsaka and Vidayaka, the destructive and constructive paths. Vidvamsaka path refers to the clearing of a field of bushes, thorns, and the like before it is got ready for cultivation. Vidayaka path refers to the planting of good seeds in the form of good qualities, which will yield a harvest of joy. Hence, everyone's heart has to be filled in the right way by Shraddha and Vishwasa. It is not enough for a devotee to claim that he loves the Lord. He must find out whether the Lord loves him. You must see whether God showers His grace on you. Only then your devotion becomes meaningful. In all his actions, man should not be concerned only with self-interest. He must find out whether his actions are approved by his conscience. Just as the divine is always blissful, the devotee should be a santushtaha, ever blissful. But in the present times, men have no contentment or sense of joy. They are racked by doubts and apprehensions. How can such persons ever experience divine bliss? It has been said that one who is vacillating is merely a living creature, but one who is firm and unwavering is divine. God has the appellation Suhrit, a good-hearted friend. In every human relationship, there's an element of selfishness in the display of affection. God alone showers His love with no trace of selfishness. Man fails to understand this sacred divine love principle. I would like to illustrate what it means to have God as a friend from the example of the Pandavas, whom Krishna was all in all. When Arjuna returned to Hastinapura from Dwaraka, after the passing of Krishna, he could not bear to answer his mother Kunti's question as to what had happened to Krishna. With tears in his eyes, he said that Krishna, who had been their charioteer, their counselor, their preceptor, friend, lord, and everything else, had left the world. There can be no greater thing than to have God as one's Suhrit, friend. Another appellation of God is Nivasa, supreme abode. Our aim should be to dwell in the Lord. This cosmos is the abode of the Lord. We are living in this cosmos. We are not separate from it, but the sacred feeling that we are living in the abode of the Lord should be cherishable by everyone. Such sacred feelings do not arise in man because of the barriers created by raga, bhaya, and dvesha, attachment, fear, and hatred. Attachment is the feeling that one develops when he considers that something other than himself can give him satisfaction and joy. The sense of separateness should go. The consciousness that the same constituents are present in one and all should be realized. Then there will be no room for differentiation and alienation. The sense of oneness will be experienced. Where there is attachment, there is dvesha, hatred, which is a reflection of raga. Fear is born out of attachment, the fear of losing what one has. Attachment and fear breed hatred. These three lead man to stray from his adherence to Shraddha and Vishwasa. Hence, these three have to be brought under control. To realize the divinity within man, everyone has to turn his vision inward. All that is perceived in the external world is subject to changes. Man cannot derive happiness from a changing world. He desires change, but the change he should seek is the divine change, not changes in the mundane world. He should seek to know the truth about himself. Ignorant about his true self, man today is harried by fears. As long as fear remains, God will elude him. He has to develop faith in the divinity, Shiva, within him, to get rid of this fear and acquire Brahma Balam, strength of the divine. Every night is marked by darkness. But tonight it is Shivaratri. What is the difference between Ratri, night, and Shivaratri? For the man who has recognized his divinity, every night is Shivaratri. For the man immersed in worldly concerns, all nights are the same. That night is marked by darkness. This night is marked by light. Spirituality is the lighthouse that spreads light for the man who is full of despair, immersed in insatiable desires. The name of God is the lighthouse. By chanting the name, the bearer of the name can be realized. Man has to proceed from the body to the divine. Man is a limb of society. Society is a limb of nature. Nature is a limb of God. The Atma is present in everyone. It knows no territorial barriers. It's omnipresent. To recognize the omnipresence of the divine is the purpose of observing Shivaratri. This purpose is not served by fasting and keeping awake all night. These are mere auxiliaries to what is considered the ultimate goal. But God realization should not be put off to some distant future. It has to be taken up here and now. That's the purpose of Shivaratri. But today, people have forgotten their divine destiny and are wasting their lives in worldly pursuits. They have no faith in their future. Where there is no faith, there is no Shiva. They lack the power of Shraddha, earnestness. So Parvati is not there. Man's pathetic condition today is he has denied himself the grace of both Parvati and Shiva. He can obtain it only by cultivating human values. He has to acquire the jnana, spiritual wisdom that comes from Shraddha, spiritual earnestness. The true values for man are Ichcha Shakti, Kriya Shakti, and Jnana Shakti. These represent the triple aspects of the divine: Satyam, Shivam, Sundaram, truth, auspiciousness, and beauty. These are the eternal verities. Though endowed with these divine powers, man goes after petty trinkets. When the divine is ready to confer liberation, why get involved in the bonds of worldly life? Man should seek God alone. Once God's grace is secured, all else will be got with ease. For this purpose, man has to get rid of attachment, fear, and hatred. He must perform all actions as an offering to God, who is omnipresent. The vigil and fasting observed on Shivaratri night have become partial. True vigil and fasting consist in concentrating all one's thoughts on God during the whole night. God's grace is a direct sequel to one's actions. Each one has to examine for himself in what spirit he is performing his worship. The divine can be realized only through Shraddha and Vishwasa. The divine is within everyone. Once man recognizes this fact, he will give no room for bad qualities. Embodiments of divine love. Dedicate yourself to the performance of your duties. Do not waste your time or that of others in idle talk. Starting with the duties of the individual, man should aim at achieving oneness with the divine as the ultimate goal. Shivaratri is an auspicious occasion for concentrating the mind on God. Devote at least this one night entirely to the contemplation of God, to the exclusion of all other thoughts and worries. So this Swami's discourse in 1993 on Shivaratri, where he has spoken about Shraddha and Vishwas. There are many discourses where Swami has spoken, but I just picked this up. So Shivanushasanam, as the last sutra says, it's all about auspiciousness. And for Shivanushasanam, there should be Shraddha and Vishwasa. That's what Narada says. Once we do that, we will experience the Lord in every way possible. It is indeed possible, is what Narada says. So I take this opportunity to thank Swami to give us the opportunity to study this and contemplate and dwell on it, and may He bless us all in our journey towards Him and cultivating devotion in all its glory in us. Sairam, I'll stop here. If there are any questions on anything, we can discuss. Sairam. I guess there's none. So with this, Narada Bhakti Sutras comes to an end. I was thinking of taking up Suprabhatam for the next few weeks. We had done it a long time ago, but there were some questions about some of them, so I thought always it's better to study things again. So we will do Suprabhatam. It will last a few months, 2-3 months, I would say. After that, I was thinking, just toying with what no one wants to stop this. It looks like. So what to take up was some question which I had. I have two choices. One is Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, one, or the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Both are good options because I did not want to take anything longer so that it will go on indefinitely. So I don't know. You can let me know whether Patanjali Yoga Sutra, which is also good, or second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Sairam Aunty Kanagas, please go on.
What is special about second chapter of Bhagavad Gita? Why? Why do you choose that?
So the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita is considered an entire summary of the entire Bhagavad Gita. So many people consider the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita as entire Gita. Then Krishna goes on to explain each of the aspects which is already described in second chapter in subsequent chapters.
Oh.
So the understanding is, if we study and understand the second chapter well, we have a full understanding of the Bhagavad Gita.
So altogether we have 18 chapters, isn't that?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So the rest of the chapters are
It's
all contents here.
Yes, so it's a belief by many of the Bhashyakarak. I mean, people have written commentary that all the other chapters are commentary on different aspects mentioned in the second chapter.
Oh, I get it. Okay, Sairam, sir, thank you for the explanation. What
So
was the other one? Suprabhadam was.
First, I will anyway do Suprabhatam for the next little while. The other one which I thought of doing was the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, which is, Patanjali Maharshi has given us the Yoga Sutras, the sutras related to Dhyana Yoga, I would say, Samadhi, which is called Raja Yoga in the Bhagavad Gita also. Swami has spoken about a few sutras in many of his discourses. So, I mean, generally people think yoga means just doing some exercise, but it's much more than that.
Yes, of course.
So I thought it's a good opportunity for us to understand what this real yoga is from a Raja Yoga perspective. So those are two things because Patanjali Yoga Sutras runs under 200 sutras there. Very practical sutras. Not only they are for people who practice yoga, but how we should live our life, how do we control our mind, what are the distractions. Basic steps in spirituality is outlined by him very nicely. Sadhana Pada, it tells all about sadhana. So in many ways, that's useful. So those are the two things which I had in mind. I mean, there are many texts, unless someone else has something else which they're interested in.
Second chapter is good, brother.
Okay, Saira. Thank you very much, everyone. So we will close the session with Samasta Loka prayer. Om Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Sairam, everyone.